Hello. So, let's talk some more about President Kennedy's assassination. I should warn you that some of the photos I'm going to talk about are very graphic, and if you have like a weak stomach or you faint at the sight of blood, don't watch any more of this video because it'll be very disturbing for you. The first picture I'm going to show you, I'll insert it here. This is the first autopsy picture, and it shows the wound in the front of the neck at the collar. When I see that, I think, doesn't it look like an entrance wound? I mean, I don't know a great deal about ballistics or gunshot wounds or anything, but that looks to me a bit like an entrance wound, because an exit, it would be bigger, wouldn't it? It would be more messier. That looks like it could be an entrance wound, or it could be a cut, but to my knowledge, the doctors didn't perform a tracheotomy or something. That's when they cut the throat there, so it's a bit open to speculation, I suppose. And the second photo, which I will insert here, is another autopsy photo, and it's very disturbing to look at. I apologise for that. It shows damage to the upper right skull area. It looks to be on my left, I think, doesn't it? But this is my right hand side, and that is very messy. That is both the bullet entrance wound and the exit wound, and it's hard to tell really because there's so much mess, but I think it probably entered from the front and not from the back, like the Warren Commission have been trying to say all these years. But we'll discuss it at the end. Picture number 3, which I will insert here, is another autopsy photo. I've just got my notes in front of me, not the actual photos, but I made the notes looking at the photos, so I think picture number 3, oh no, that's not an official pic, so I'm getting ahead of myself, shows the left side of the head with no damage. It makes an interesting, just an interesting comparison. You can see the mess on the other side of his head, and then that's a picture of the other side of his, the right, the left, that has no damage. So that's what that looks like. And then I've got 2 official pictures that the Warren Commission have been selling us. Pic number 1, which I will insert here for you to see. The hair flaps are being held in place for this photo to be taken. I think the big question you've got to ask is why? Aren't they taking these photos like as evidence? Don't they want a picture that shows exactly what his head looks like in all its messy glory? I mean, it's extremely disturbing to look at. You've got your hand on that, haven't you? But it's the way it is. You can't help it. I think they would just, I don't know why they would do that, but that's a big question, isn't it? Why was the doctor holding his hair flaps to take the photo? And the second picture, it's another official pic. I'll insert here. This is the only picture I could find of his back. I don't know if this picture is genuine, but if it's supposed to be a bullet hole, the bullet hole in his back, it's very small. It looks more like it could be a puncture wound. I mean, what do you think? You perhaps have different opinions, but it's a very small hole. It does match up with, I think, a hole on the back of his shirt, but what caused it? as I say, that I think that's that was labelled as another official picture. The site where I got it from, and the jacket. Let me show you the photo before I talk about it. I'll insert it here. Allegedly, this is President Kennedy's coat, and it shows a bullet hole in the back. Now, I can't tell you the source for these because I can't remember. I should have written that down because that's very important. I just pulled them off, you know, the internet. But so that's allegedly Kennedy's coat. Whether it really is or not, I'll leave that up to you. But there it is for your thoughts. And the shirt. I found two slightly different photos that are supposed to be the shirt that Kennedy was wearing the day that he was shot and killed. I'll insert the first one here. This is a photo of a photo, which I know that's not the same as having a photo of the actual thing, but it shows heavy blood stains, which to me suggests that it's genuine. It might actually be the one that he wore, because considering, you know, what happened to him and he was shot and half his head was blown off, you would expect with that sort of thing a lot of blood loss. So the fact the back of the shirt, I think it's the back, isn't it, is like really heavy blood stains, that suggests that it could be genuine. But so we need to compare that to the alternate shirt photo that I found, which I will insert here. This has light blood stains, far lighter than the other shirt photos, so I think that's important. And a bullet hole. Well, it looks like a bullet hole, doesn't it? I think there's a bullet hole in the second shirt photo, which ties in with what the Warren Commission had been trying to say, that he was shot in the back. I found an interesting photo, which I will insert here. This is obviously an X-ray picture, and it is, I say allegedly because I can't really confirm after this amount of time, I think, but it's allegedly an X-ray of President Kennedy's head. So I'm just putting this in here for, you know, as an interesting photo that I found for you to consider. And it shows a lot of damage. It's very, the skull seems quite fractured, doesn't it? Which ties in with the fact that he was shot in the head, sort of blown apart. So you expect lots of skull fractures, but it could be an X-ray of Kennedy's skull. It could also be an X-ray of anybody, you know. So, and also, importantly, I have photos of the limousine. I'll insert the first one here. This shows blood and tissue fragments on the back seat. And I'll insert photo 2 here. This also shows the floor in the back seat area. And photo 3 I'll insert here. This is better than the previous picture because the flash really highlights the blood like everywhere and dripping down the wall of the seat behind there where the legs would have been, you know. It's very graphic, but it shows how much the car got covered in blood. And the bullet, well, I don't think it's the bullet they've been trying to sell, is it? Okay, I'll insert the photo first and let you see it, and then we'll talk about it. So I'll insert the photo here. This bullet was found beside the front limo seat The question is, where did it get shot from? Was it like one of the misses? And how did it end up in the front seat of the limousine? It's an interesting question. I'm not sure I can answer that right now, but it's, again, something else to think about. There's lots to think about, isn't there? So, the next photo, I have 3 photos of the windshield. I'll insert the first one here. These photos were hard to find. And the Warren Commission wants to hide the existence, the fact that there were bullet holes, there was a bullet hole, sorry, in the windshield of Kennedy's car. They want to hide the fact that it was there. They want to hide the photos. They don't want anybody to know that, there was a bullet that went through the windshield. And again, the big question you've got to ask is why? We know that they're very incompetent because anybody who's done any little bit of, investigating into Kennedy's assassination, you can figure out that the Warren Commission didn't really get all the facts. And some facts they glossed over because they didn't want that to be the way it really was. So, I'll insert the second one here. I don't know what else to say about it because I haven't written any more notes, but I'll put them in. And the third one here, that is definitely a bullet hole. Can't really dispute that, but as I said, why did the Warren Commission want to conceal this? Was the cause of that bullet hole a shot that came from the front of the car? Is that why the Warren Commission wants to hide this? Because that is what they have been trying to say never happened all along, isn't it? They want to say there was nobody shooting from over there or, in front of the car anywhere. The only bullets that came was from the back. Finally, I have the Immaculate bullet. And this is the bullet that, I remember rightly, it was found on a hospital trolley outside the emergency room while they were working on President Kennedy, wasn't it? And it, as you can see, it's immaculate. That bullet has never been fired. Even me, who knows very little about guns, I can tell you that that bullet has never been fired. It seems very obvious to me. So, how can anybody say that that bullet went through President Kennedy and out again, and through Senator, what's his name, that was in front of him? I'm sorry, I haven't got his name in my head or on my book right now, so I don't know his name, but you know who I'm talking about. Connolly, wasn't it? Yeah, my brain's finally caught up with me. They're trying to say that that bullet went through him and went through Connolly, and it's still perfect. That is just not possible. That does not happen. So the question you'll have to ask after looking at that photo and, knowing all the facts that they're trying to sell us is, what were the Warren Commission smoking? I think that's really the issue, isn't it? What the hell were they smoking? Because how can they can't really reasonably expect anybody to believe anything that they've said about anything. So that's all the pictures that I found, and the autopsy photos, they are very hard to look at because they're so graphic and gruesome, and that is he was the president when he died, and being of someone of such importance as he is, it makes it even harder to see him in that condition. So I apologise if you had a hard time seeing those, and maybe you've never seen them before, or maybe you have, but it doesn't get any easier. So I've spent many days, weeks looking online and seeing these photos repeatedly, and every time it gets a little bit harder, and I think, oh please, I've seen those photos, I don't want to see them anymore, just stop showing them to me. But that's by the by. The next step is to look at the suspects. So I will look into that and we can discuss the suspects. So if you have anything that you want to say about these photos or anything else to do with President Kennedy, please leave a comment in the comment section below, which I'm pointing right, you know where it is anyway. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to end with one final photo, and this is not gruesome at all, so you don't need to prepare yourself before you see this. So thank you for watching. I'll leave you with this. Goodbye.